Hi there again, BookTube. Lola here and welcome to another video. Today I am bringing you something slightly different. I don't think I've ever done a book recommendation before, so here I am and I'm going to do one. As I've told you before, I went to university to do a classics degree. I'm graduated and all sorted and everything now, and I just kind of want to recommend some ancient mythology books to you that you can sit and enjoy. It basically shows you the mythos of heroes and the gods, and I just want to share this with you guys because these are the books that I studied at university and enjoyed, so I really hope you enjoy them. First off, I'm going to introduce you to the epics of the ancient world. Now, one of the oldest authors going was Homer, who was around the 8th century BC. We don't actually know if Homer was just one person or multiple people, and that's a Homeric question, and I'm going to be nerdy in this video because I've got a degree in this. But this is Homer's Odyssey, and I also have the Iliad by Homer. Now, I should probably go with the Iliad first. The Iliad is about the Trojan War. It shows us sections about the war between the gods, whether the gods are on the Greek side or the Trojan side of the war, and basically the whole story leading right up to where they bring the horse into Troy and their downfall, and slightly past that. So I had to read this while I was in college, actually, both of these, because I studied Homer at college as well. And yeah, if you want to learn more about the Trojan War and Achilles and Hector and Andromache and everybody like that, you should probably read this. Like I said, if you've watched Troy, you'll see that the gods are not involved in the story, whereas if you read the Iliad, you get to see what the gods think about the war and their control over the war, and how it's basically their war, just using people to fight it. And you will also see the whole thing about Helen and how she's fought over by the gods and men as well. So I think it's a really good read and you should go ahead and read it. The other one is the Odyssey, and that is all about Odysseus and his travelling and homecoming from Troy, and how it takes him years and years and years to get home. Because that's what Odysseus does. Now, you see, Odysseus isn't in the modern day what we call faithful to his wife. Penelope, on the other hand, is extremely faithful to Odysseus. All the time he's at Troy, all the time he's coming home from Troy. She convinces the suitors who think Odysseus dead that he isn't dead, and she convinces the suitors that she'll choose somebody after she's crafted this massive weaving, and by day she weaves the pattern and by night she undoes it and tricks the suitors into making them wait for Odysseus' return. Now, Odysseus, on the other hand, is off sleeping with 2 other women at one point or another, because it's what guys did back then. And I suppose heroes, in a way, back then it was said to they deserved women and all this kind of stuff, even if they had faithful wives back home. But yeah, Odysseus goes through all these different adventures on his way home. He gets knocked off course, gods dislike him, gods like him, Poseidon hates him and tries everything to kill him, basically. So if you read this, you'll find out everything that Odysseus does on the way home, and then how him and Penelope reunite at the end. It's a beautiful story. Mostly. You see, I don't really like most of the heroes in Greek mythology. I really enjoy learning about them. It's just a interesting hate I have for most of them. I think the only hero that I actually like is Hector, and you see more of Achilles than you do Hector in the Iliad anyway. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway. Going a bit further on in time, the next recommendation I have for you is Virgil's Aeneid. Now, I wrote some of my half of my dissertation on this book. I compared Virgil's Aeneid, like the underworld in book 6 I think it is, of this text. These are all epics again, by the way. I compared the ancient underworld to the Christian underworld of Dante's Inferno, and I showed how Dante took a lot of inspiration from the ancient underworld, the Greek and Roman underworld and all that kind of thing, and that was my dissertation, so it was really cool and I got a 2-1 and I'm happy. Anyway, this is all about Aeneid after the Trojan War as well, and how he founds Rome, and well, how his lineage goes up to Rome at least anyway, and how he goes to Italy. But yes, this is Aeneid's adventures. I don't like Aeneid either because he's nasty to Dido. I don't like Dido, but he promises her things and then runs off, so I don't like him. But yeah, Dido's one of the women he meets on his way, so even though he knows he's promised to somebody else. But that's the Aeneid. You get to see a massive load of the underworld in book 6 and I love it. I have an obsession with the underworld in Greek and Roman mythology, just so you know. And there's lots of war, lots of ancient war tactics and all that kind of stuff, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and read this. You also see the gods a lot in this book, so yes, you will get loads of insight. Another author from the Roman era is Ovid, and he wrote the Metamorphoses. Huge, big, massive, epic book. And this basically tells you lots of different tales. It goes in like little sections, so you don't have to read it all at once, so that's really good. Basically it's how people change into stuff, and most of the time it's women into trees because of Apollo wanting to rape them, so sorry about that, guys. But that's what Apollo did, and that's what Zeus did also, so yeah, Ovid is a wonderful book to read if you want to get lots of insights on the gods and some heroes as well, but mostly the gods and their chasing of women. I really don't know, it's not all right, don't worry. But yeah, I wrote a few essays on this book, so it's really good. And it's all about people changing into other things. So go ahead and read that. I also have Hesiod's Theogony and Works and Days, which is a really little book. Teeny weeny little thing, and the Theogony literally starts at the beginning of time, where the gods will come about and all that kind of thing, and it's showing how the gods came about from the Titans and before them, and it basically gives you a giant list of gods and heroes and monsters that come into being in ancient mythology. So if you want to know all about them, read the Theogony. The Works and Days is basically a farmery type story, so I'd read that if you want to get into the agricultural side of ancient mythology and all the kinds of things they did in those days. It's a very small book, but still an epic technically. Another one is Apollodorus's The Library of Greek Mythology, and this is really good because it tells you another load of tales in more detail than the Theogony, I suppose. And it goes through them all in sections again, so you don't have to read it all at once. And it even gives you like little family trees and stuff. So it's really, really cool, and I really enjoyed this book when I read it at university. So go ahead and read that too. And these are all things that will get you interested or give you more information about Greek and Roman mythology, and I really enjoyed them. The next loads of texts I will show you are texts that hold plays. So if you like the ancient plays and learning more about the heroes than anything else, these are the texts for you. First I have Euripides writing the Bacchae. Now the Bacchae is a really interesting play which is about Dionysus, the god of wine and celebration and the vine and all that kind of thing, and basically everything against civilization, and he ends up tempting a king who's really, really against him into joining his ideals. So it's basically about civilization versus the wild and untamed, beastly type of behaviour. Women leave their children and their husbands to join in. He basically takes over the minds of all these people. But the premises of the story is that it's wild versus tame. So the Bacchae is a really, really great play. It's one of my favourites, so I really, really recommend that play to anybody because it's fantastic. The next ones I'm going to show you is by Aeschylus, and I will recommend all these plays in this book because it is the Orestia, so that it holds the Agamemnon, the libation bearers, and the Eumenides. And my favourite one of these is the Agamemnon, but the whole story is in this book. They all follow on from each other and tell the whole story. I'll only tell you about the Agamemnon, you can read the rest yourself because they follow on, so no spoilers. But the Agamemnon is about a king who was at the Trojan War as well, called Agamemnon. I see a theme here, the Trojan War, so you see what most people wrote about. Agamemnon comes home and his wife no longer loves him. She pretends to, but she doesn't love him anymore, so she wants to kill him, so her and her new lover get together and plan his death. So that's what that one's about. He comes home from all that fighting and then gets killed. That's what they did. Clytemnestra is a very strong woman, so it shows that strength of women in the text, I suppose. Another play set that I will recommend to you are Sophocles' plays, the Antigone, Oedipus and Electra. I haven't read Electra yet, but I will at some point. But Oedipus is the main one I want to talk about, and Oedipus is also one of my favourite plays, even though it's very morbid and dark. If you've ever read about the Oedipus complex, you'll know why. And yeah, basically Oedipus is the king of Thebes in this play, and because he has killed his father and married his mother, he's in for a lot of plaguing. Yes. So Thebes gets the plague, and the only thing that can stop this plague is Oedipus, because he doesn't actually realise that he's killed his father and married his mother, but you get a load of stuff from a prophet called Tiresias. Oedipus doesn't believe him and all that kind of thing, so it's a bit of a fight, and then Oedipus finally realises that it's his fault because he realises that he's made 2 children with his mother, grosses himself out, cuts out his eyeballs, and it all goes from there. But it's a really, really good play. There's 2 versions of it. Oh, the other person who wrote it was Seneca, which is the Roman version. So they are my recommendations for all your Greek and Roman mythology needs. So I hope you go ahead and read them. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please come back again. If you do want to come back, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and comment below anything you want to know about Greek and Roman mythology. Just quick comment and ask, I don't mind. Hopefully I'll be able to answer you because I have a degree in this. Please come back for more, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!